Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tia, and today I want to share with you my fall TBR. So I decided this month, instead of making an October TBR, to make a fall TBR that is going to last about 6 weeks, probably until the middle of November is when I would like to read these books, because around about that time I will be feeling Christmas vibes and wanting to read Christmas books. And my plan right now is to read only Christmas books from mid-November until the end of December. That's normally what I feel like doing. And so until then, I'm going to read all of the spooky, paranormal, witchy, dark academia, mystery books that I can squeeze in. I have a ton that I would like to get to, but I narrowed it down to 26, which still sounds like a lot. And I know that there's no way that I will be able to get to all of these by the middle of November, but I'm going to try my hardest. So with that being said, if there are some on here that you think I should prioritize over others, then definitely let me know, because I do have like a couple in different categories. So you could tell me like which dark academia you think I should focus on, or which cozy mystery you think I should focus on, that type of thing. So the first one that I want to tell you about, though, is going to be our book club pick for the month of October. So if you don't already know, I host a book club with my husband. It's called the No Cover Charge Book Club, and it takes place on my channel. We did take a break over the summer, but we decided that we wanted to read something in October because we both enjoy reading spooky books during October. And so we decided to go with a Stephen King book. We put up 3 choices in the community tab for you to vote on, and they were Misery, Salem's Lot, and Pet Sematary. And in the first poll, it was split pretty evenly. Pet Sematary had 32%, and then Misery and Salem's Lot both had 34%. So I had to take that poll down since they were tied and put up a separate one, take Pet Sematary out of the equation, in the hopes that those people would vote for one of the other 2 and make it a more clear winner. Now there was a winner, but it was still very, very, very close. I believe that the winner had 51%. That was Misery by Stephen King, and then Salem's Lot had 49%. Let me double check those numbers real quick. Yes, that is correct. I will put it up right here so that you can see the final poll results. So that means that in October, we will be reading Misery as our group read by Stephen King. I'm sure that most of you have already heard about this. I have actually seen the movie many years ago, back probably in the 90s, when I was too young to be watching it, honestly. But yeah, so this is about an author, I believe, who encounters his biggest fan, and I think they are trapped in a snowed-in environment. And if you don't know about this book, then I don't want to tell you any more than that. But yeah, I'm really interested to read this and see how it compares to the movie. I will probably do a re-watch of the movie after I get done reading it as well. So definitely join us on this one. The live show is going to be on Sunday, October the 30th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I think this is actually one of Stephen King's shorter books, so it looks like it is 350 pages about. So yeah, it shouldn't be too intimidating for you to jump in with us. If you haven't tried Stephen King before, definitely jump in and read along with us. This will be I think this is only my 3rd Stephen King book. Is that right? I think so. So yeah, I'm excited to read this one. And along those same Stephen King notes, I did decide to put the other book on my fall TBR because it was the one that I really was hoping would win secretly. I mean, I wanted to read all 3, or I wouldn't have put them on there, but I really want to read Salem's Lot, also by Stephen King. This is a vampire novel. It is significantly longer, at least my copy is, than Misery. So it will take me a while to get through this one, because this copy that I have is about 650 pages. So yeah, but I definitely want to read this fall. It is a book that I have wanted to read for many years, and from what I understand, the new movie remake of this is coming out sometime this year. I think it was supposed to be in September, but I guess that's not happening, but maybe October or November. So I would really like to have it read before the new movie comes out of this as well. I imagine this one is going to be pretty spooky, scary. So yeah, anyway, I'm looking forward to this one too. Then I have some other books that I am definitely going to be getting to in October on my fall TBR. So these are buddy reads that will definitely get read. So I'm going to be reading Clean Sweep by Ilona Andrews along with Amy over at Zoe Beck. I believe this is an urban fantasy. It is a little bit confusing, the description on the back. So I think it's about this woman who is an innkeeper. She runs a Victorian bed and breakfast in Texas, I think. And I'm assuming this is an alternate Texas. And the inn is more than it seems. It's supposed to be a place for otherworldly guests. She has magic. Her broom, I think, is like a deadly weapon. And this is the first in a trilogy, I think, maybe 4 books though. I'm not 100% sure how many are in this series, but I don't think it's a very long running series. Anyway, I'm very much looking forward to this one. We have just finished reading 2 of other Ilona Andrews series, so looking forward to reading more from them. And then with Rainy over at Rainy Day Reads, we are going to be reading the second book in the Parasol Protectorate series. So that is Changeless by Gail Carriger. This one is a steampunk urban fantasy, paranormal romance. I'm not 100% sure what you want to call this, but it's set during the Victorian times in London, and it's following this woman named Alexia, I think is how you pronounce her name. Anyway, and she has a power to sort of eliminate other magical creatures' powers. So when she touches them, if a werewolf is transitioned into a werewolf, when she touches them, they aren't anymore, they're null. And same with like vampires, their powers get taken away when she touches them. And I can't remember exactly what they call her. Is she just called Soulless? I mean, that's the name of the first book, but anyway, so there are vampires and werewolves and whatever magic hers is called, and all in a steampunk environment. And there is like a kind of witty humor to all of these. They don't take themselves very seriously, and I really enjoyed this first book. It's been a couple years since I read it, so theoretically I would like to reread Soulless before Rainy and I get to Changeless, so that gives me a couple of weeks to get this one done. Before then, I think I can do it. I'm going to try really hard, but if I don't make it, I'm still going to read Changeless in October and continue on with this series. Hopefully I can get this done before I completely forget everything that happened in here. Then I have a few ghosty type books that I'm going to throw on my fall TBR. The first one is one of Simone St. James's earlier books. This is called The Other Side of Midnight. I had a goal this year to finish reading up all of her backlist, and I think I still have like 3 of her books left to read, which is not impossible. I can definitely get that done by the end of the year. I would just have to read 1 a month. So this one takes place in London in the 1920s. It's about this woman who has psychic abilities, who has always used it, or not always, but she's been using it to find lost objects for people. She hasn't been wanting to use it to contact the dead. But then one of her former friends, who's also in this type of business, dies, and she is approached by someone who wants her to use her psychic ability to try and figure out what happened to this friend. And so I think that there is going to be ghosty type elements in this book. I haven't read a Simone St. James book that didn't have ghost elements, so I don't know why this one wouldn't be any different. Definitely seems like a good read for this time of year. And then I would like to read Frozen Charlotte. I am not sure what age group this is for. If it is for YA readers, I feel like I've heard this is for upper middle grade or YA, but I don't know. The back says warning, not for younger readers. So I don't really know. Guess we'll find out. But this is about a former school for girls that's been converted into a family home. And this young girl, whose name is Sophie, is going to spend the summer at this house with her cousins. And I think they find out that it's haunted by Charlotte, I'm gonna guess, who was someone who attended this former girls' home, school for girls. back in, it doesn't say what year, but anyway, so yeah, it looks creepy, it sounds creepy. I guess we'll find out. I would like to continue on with the Haunted Mansion series that I have been reading over the last few years. I think I've read like one a year for the last 3 years during October, but this is Tales from the Haunted Mansion, Volume 3. This one is called Grinning Ghosts, and this is just like a fun little series that kind of goes along with the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland or Disney World, and they just have not cute, but spooky little stories that aren't too scary, and I really enjoy them, partially because I love the Haunted Mansion ride and the Haunted Mansion movie, and it's been my tradition to read one of these yearly and also watch the Haunted Mansion movie, so I'm definitely going to do that this year as well. And the next category for my fall TBR is going to be a mashup of like magical creatures, I'm going to call it. Is it witch a magical creature? I don't know. So witches, vampires, monsters, and fairies, I think. Is this one a fairy book? So this is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I think that this is fairies, but I'm not 100% sure. I've heard great things about this book. I initially heard about this book on Monica Kim's channel. She just raves about this book. And Kara from Wild Book Garden, I think, has also recently read this, and she was telling me that it's really, really good. So I definitely want to get to this one. I'm not 100% sure exactly what it is about, but I know it takes place in Regency, England, yes. And I think there is magic and fairies and a girl who has half a soul. I feel like Monica Kim described this as a mashup of like if you love Pride and Prejudice, but with magic. Yeah? Oh, I'm totally not explaining this very well, but anyway, I love Pride and Prejudice and Regency England, and I also love paranormal romance, and this sounds like a mashup of those two things, so I'm definitely going to give it a try. Hopefully, I'm going to make it to it this fall. I also really, really, really want to read the first book in the Vampire Academy series by Rachel Mead. I think that this just had a remake come out on TV, on Netflix. I'm not sure where it was, but I know I've been seeing people talk about it, and it's been kind of advertised on my my Prime Stick or whatever. Anyway, yes, vampires at an academy. I've had this book forever, and I really enjoy reading books about vampires, and I would like to give this series a go. A couple of books that came out recently that I would like to read, I pre-ordered. Angelica, Frankenstein Makes Her Match by Sally Thorn. I really enjoy Sally Thorn's writing, and I like this concept here. I believe that Angelica Frankenstein is Dr. Frankenstein's sister, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, her brother Victor, and she uses like his equipment to make her own like romantic partner, I think is what happens. Anyway, yes, I'm really interested to see what Sally Thorn will do with this, because she hasn't written anything like this before. The stuff I've read from her were like contemporary romances, and so I'm really looking forward to this one. And then I also pre-ordered The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. So this is the sequel to The XX, which I read last fall, and I definitely want to read this one for sure this fall. I really loved The XX. It had perfect October fall vibes, and I have no doubt that The Kiss Curse is going to be the same. XX took place around Halloween, and I'm wondering if this one does too. I hope that it does, but it takes place in this place called Graves Glen, and she runs a successful witchcraft shop with her mom, and they were characters in the first book. They were like side characters, and I really enjoyed seeing them, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what sort of romantic relationship she gets involved in and what kind of fall witchy hijinks ensues in this book. These books, well, I mean, The XX wasn't like a perfectly written book or anything, but it was just so much fun for fall that I can't not read this one this fall for sure. And another witch book that didn't come out recently but that I've been wanting to read is Cackle by Rachel Harrison. I think that this one leans more towards the horror side of paranormal. This one follows a young woman whose boyfriend or fiance has just broken up with her. longtime boyfriend. And so she moves to a different place, gets a new job, and she meets her new neighbor who is a little bit feared by the rest of the town, but Annie is very intrigued by. Her name is Sophie, and she's like trying to inspire Annie to, take life by the reins and live for herself and all that kind of thing. Starts to notice that, like other people are scared of Sophie and things are kind of strange around her. She lives in like this creepy mansion and all this stuff. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I think it's going to have great fall vibes too. Dark academia / mystery. So I have the ever popular If We Were Villains by ML Rio. This one is the one that people talk about a lot. The one I hear the most, probably this one and The Secret History, whenever people talk about dark academia. And I've had this on my TBR for a very long time, so I would really like to read it. I think this is following a group of people in college in a secret society, Shakespeare's secret society, when one of them is killed and they're trying to figure out who did it. Right? Is that right? I guess we'll find out. And then I also have the Mary Shelley Club by Goldy Moldavsky. I would really like to get to this one as well. This one takes place in a prep school, and it's definitely another secret society, the Mary Shelley Club. And I think to join, you have to perform some sort of task. Everyone gets one fear test that all members must help execute. You must perform the task assigned to you, no exceptions. The game isn't over until everyone has had their turn. A member of the club can never be a target. A fear test ends when your target screams. Anyway, so there's like different rules that they have to go by. Yeah, I'm really intrigued by this one, and I wonder how much it has to do with Mary Shelley, but we'll see. And then I'm not really sure if this one is dark academia. I don't think this actually takes place in a school, but I've been wanting to read this ever since it came out because it's a Clue mystery. And I love Clue, the movie and the game. So why haven't I already read this? I don't know. But In the Hall with the Knife by Diana Peterfreund. Oh, you know what? Actually, I think this is a dark academia book. Now that I just read the inside cover, it says that a storm strikes this elite prep school and a bunch of students are left stranded in the mansion on campus with their headmaster. But then he turns up dead and they are left trying to figure out what happened. Ooh. Yeah, that really does sound like Clue, doesn't it? I definitely want to read this and then probably rewatch Clue again for like the 1000th time. The rest of these are all mysteries that I have thrown in my TBR for the fall. This is the second in the Lady Sherlock mystery series, which I started last fall and still haven't continued on with. So I want to read the second one so that I can get deeper into the series. I really loved the first one of these books. Again, I don't know, that I just have so many things to read. That's my only excuse for why I haven't continued on. But this is A Conspiracy in Bellgravia by Sherry Thomas. It follows a Lady Sherlock, so it's like a gender-bent Sherlock series. The first one was excellent, in my opinion. I love Sherry Thomas's writing, and I can't wait to see what Lady Sherlock gets up to next in this book. The writing, the setting, all of it was just so good in the first one, so I can't wait to read more. I would really like to continue on in the Kinsey Millhone series. So this is about a private eye who works in Santa Barbara. Well, it's actually a fictional Santa Barbara. It's called something different in the series, but these are by Sue Grafton, and I am up to letter I. So I is for Innocent is the next one that I need to read. I don't want to read what's going to happen in this book because, they're all about Kinsey solving mysteries. They all can stand on their own, I would say. I mean, the characters continue from book to book, but it's not one that you have to remember everything that happened in the previous book in order to be okay with reading this current one. I have several cozy mysteries that are all kind of like the spooky or set in fall type ones. So this is the second book in the Port Danby series by London Levitt. This is Carnations and Chaos. So I read the first one of these in September, and it was set in fall in October. And I think from what I've heard that this one is set in the fall as well. I'm not sure exactly what month, but I would like to read this one this fall because the third one is set at Christmas time. So I definitely want to be ready to read that one when I'm in my Christmas zone. I have two cozy mysteries that are not necessarily set at fall time, but that I got a lot of recommendations for whenever I did my series videos. So I would like to try and start these. They're ones that are definitely at the top of my cozy mystery TBRs. So that's Death by Dumpling by Vivian Chin, the first in the Noodle Shop mystery series. I think this is about a woman whose family owns a noodle shop in Cleveland. Someone's gonna turn up dead, I'm sure, at their noodle shop. And then also the Aurora Tea Garden mysteries. The first one is called Real Murders, and these are by Charlene Harris. This one's following a librarian named Aurora, or Ro for short, who ends up forming like a club with other people in town who like to get together once a month and analyze true crime cases together. And yeah, and then I think someone ends up dead who's part of their club, and they work together to try to figure out who did it. Anyway, I've heard great things about this one. It was made into a TV series, which I would also really like to watch as well. So many books and so many movies and TV shows. The last few books on my TBR are cozy mystery, paranormal books that I think would be perfect for the fall time. The first one is the Haunted Guest House Mystery series. The first one in this series is called Night of the Living Deed by E.J. Copperman. I think this one is about a haunted house fixer-upper, two residing ghosts. Wow, okay, yeah. Anyway, I've heard really good things about this series, and I really want to try it out. I mean, look at that cover. It's definitely a fall cover, and I think that I probably had this on fall TBRs before. Then I have Caught Dead-Handed, a Witch City mystery by Carol J. Perry. This one takes place in Salem, Massachusetts around Halloween, and it is following a woman who has returned back home to Salem. She gets a job at Witch TV channel, like as a psychic for, I don't know, some call-in show or something, yeah, during the late night horror movie showings. And I think she starts seeing actual things that happen, including like an actual practicing witch, and she needs to solve the case or something. Yeah, anyway, sounds perfect for this time of year. Then I have Spellbooked, a Retired Witches mystery by Joyce and Jim Levine. So this one, like it says, is following three retired witches who are, well, they're about to retire, but first they need to find and train some new witches to take their place and take over their shop. Do they have a shop? To pass on their cherished spellbook. But before they can, one of them is murdered, and they need to figure out, I guess, who killed their friend, and also find someone to take over their witchy business. I'm not sure if they have a business or what. Then I have It Takes a Witch by Heather Blake. This is the first in the Wishcraft mystery series. It's following two sisters who have returned back home to Salem, I think, and they want to join their family business, and they discover that they have the talent to grant wishes. And one of their, well, someone turns up dead, and I think one of their like boyfriends is blamed for the murder, and so they have to figure out who did it. Okay, so yeah, I don't think that there's any way that I will be able to read all four of these spooky cozy mysteries in the fall, so definitely let me know if you have read one of these four, or you've heard about them, and which one you think would be the best to read during the fall season. I'm kind of leaning towards the Retired Witches, or maybe Night of the Living Deed. I'm not sure. Let me know if you've read any of these. So yeah, that is all of the books on my fall TBR. I would love to know, like I said, if there's any that you have read and you think that I should prioritize during the next 6 weeks, or if there's any other books that I've left off of this that you think really should be read during the fall season. I'm definitely open to adding more things, even though I probably shouldn't be. I should probably just focus on what I have. But yeah, I'm really looking to all of the fall reading and all of the fall watching. I even have like a spooky fall puzzle I'm going to do. So yeah, fall is definitely, is it my favorite time of year? I don't know. I really love Christmas too. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you next time. Bye.